So I thought I'd do a video on the comparison between a conventional tail swing machine and a zero swing machine. It's pretty rare you ever get to sort of compare the two, really. A lot of manufacturers doing zero swing machines now, or zero tail, or reduced tail. You know, there's several names for them, but effectively it's relating to the counterweight. And that it has some advantages and it has some disadvantages in the case. These are both 2.6 ton class machines. Got the Volvo ECR25D and obviously the JCB 8026, which I own, side by side, and I've lined them up tracks, you know, parallel, so that'll compare the length of the blade, how much overhang it has, you know, at the back and front, and also gives a better idea of the true reach you get, because you line them up from the blade. Some of these things have longer blades and stuff, so that's kind of how I've set this up. But I'll talk you through it. So as you can see here, the tracks are completely lined up, and the blades are actually pretty similar, to be honest. The JCB just got the slight edge on it, but the Volvo blade's actually quite nice. I quite like that. But anyway, you know, compact enough. Neither of them are particularly huge. Yeah, pretty simple. But what is different is the difference in where the Kingpost is on the JCB compared to where the Volvo is. You can just see how just much more forward that is on the chassis, you know, in relation to where the tracks are. Kingpost almost overhangs the front, whereas you know, on the JCB it's set back by probably a good sort of almost foot. And how does that affect, of course, reach at the other end? So both machines have got their sort of standard dippers on. The Volvo, I think you can get with a shorter dipper, and same with the JCB, but they both come with their standard sort of longer dipper, as UK spec normally is. And to be honest, obviously I've got the Engcon, which does give me a little bit of advantage, but you know, here's where my bucket would be, and I'm thinking that's fairly similar, really, me and the Volvo. But of course I've lost a foot the other end nearly, so yes, I win this marginally with the bucket, but obviously he's got a smaller profile bucket, mine's quite big and deep, but obviously it's set back by a certain amount. So the Volvo's reach is actually pretty good for a little machine like this, and of course when it's over the side of the tracks, you know, that Kingpost will be, you know, sort of beyond the frame as such, so it's got actually a bit more frontal overhang than the JCB would have, but of course that does help at the back end. So when we compare at the back, you can see the JCB's got this big rounded bit. Yes, I've marked it, it pisses me off, I occasionally have to repaint it, and that's a lot more set back. More pronounced when you stand down here. Again, the track frames are pretty much identical lengths, which is surprising me because it makes the Volvo look a lot shorter than the JCB, but they are actually identical lengths. And you can see the difference in the two. You know, when this machine's slewed round, it will overhang the track frame because it's got the extra counterweight on it. But I mean, marginally, really, it's quite impressive. But of course, that's why the JCB handles that Engcon so well, and I do rave about it. We've got helicopters going overhead, the army. RAF Odium's pretty near here, so they do float around. But that's why it handles it so well, because that you know, that Kingpost and the whole machine and weight is all set much further back on the track frame in comparison to the Volvo, which, driving its day, is a perfectly nice enough machine. You can make it tilt a bit, and I found that they're a bit tippy, these zero swings, but of course, you know, you do gain that extra manoeuvrability on the tail. Both good machines, actually. Let's say I thought I'd put them side by side as we've got them here, and yeah, they're both more than capable of doing the job. Whether the Volvo would handle the rotor tilt that well, I'm not sure, but then they do the they do a version with a full swing, really, you know, a full counterweight, so that would probably be more suited, really, to that. Or of course you could spec the shorter arm with it, which would probably be the way forward if you went with the ECR. But yeah, just interesting to see, both same widths, same track frames, you know, lengths and things, but I hadn't quite appreciated the you know, the sort of mounting of where the Kingpost is. If we lined them up, the JCB would actually have more reach, you know, straight off the arm. But as we know, it is actually at the heavier end of this market, so not surprising really. But yeah, just thought I'd do a quick sort of comparison between the two, and what they're like really, 'cause, yeah, rare to see them side by side. Cheers, catch you next one.